Born Yesterday is a wonderful testament to the magic of self-education and what can happen if you open yourself up to learning new things. The film was done in 1950. It was based on the play of the same name written by Garson Kanin, and the film was directed by George Cukor and starred Judy Holliday, Broderick Crawford, and William Holden. It is the story of a woman who is the mistress to a very rich, very powerful business mogul, and it takes place in Washington. They are on a trip. He has taken her with him, and he is on a business trip to buy off a corrupt local politician. Billy is very undereducated. She is not stupid, but she has not used her mind. She has kind of let her intelligence stagnate. She has become very lax. She doesn't really want to question her life or her lifestyle because she has what she wants, in her opinion. She's pretty sure that she's got the cat by the tail. She lives in the lap of luxury. She has beautiful clothes, diamond jewelry. She has a roof over her head, good food, and she lacks for nothing, she thinks. Because she is coarse and unrefined, she carries herself in social situations in a way that embarrasses herself without her realizing it and embarrasses her boyfriend. Her rich boyfriend is much worse off than she is because he's not only ignorant, he's mean. He's a bully. He is not smart at all. All of his business acquisitions have not been attained by his intelligence or his business acumen. They have been attained by bullying and buying people out and threats and all kinds of illegal, corrupt practices. However, he doesn't see it that way. He sees himself as incredibly smart and productive, and he sees Billy as stupid and embarrassing. Therefore, when she embarrasses him and herself in front of the politician that he is working on buying off, he decides that she needs some education. She needs to be polished up so that when he is working in these high up Washington circles, she doesn't screw up his deals for him. So he hires a man as Billy's tutor. The man's name is Paul Verrill, and this character is played by Bill Holden. What he really wants Billy to learn is just how to be more socially graceful. He wants her to be able to be more elegant and classy and to speak well and to not be, for lack of a better term, trashy. Paul Verrill takes the job and he starts tutoring Billy. And she soon finds out that education is quite a big undertaking. At first, it starts out with a little bit of grammar and her visiting the Supreme Court, and it starts to grow. She starts to find that education is a very difficult thing to control. As she learns one thing, it opens up a whole bunch of questions about more things. And as she learns, she can't unsee what she's learned. She can't go backwards from that progress that she has made, and she starts to recognize the corruption of the world that she inhabits and to call it out. She starts to appreciate the world around her. She starts to appreciate the nation that she calls home. She starts to appreciate the people of America that make up America, and she starts to be more challenged to get out of what she is used to as being safe and well provided for, well cared for, and start looking around her. She starts thinking about what else there is out there. And this culminates into a pretty good ending. And I'm not going to tell you much more as far as the plot goes. What I do want to talk about is the main theme, which is education. I love the way that this film shows education as being fun, enjoyable, something that you can do by just following your own nose and going down rabbit holes. There's a great point in the film where Billy has continued to learn new things. She has learned about the founding of our nation. She has learned about the documents that support our nation, and she starts to get overwhelmed because she starts seeing that just when she gets one question answered, more pop up, because that's the nature of education. She's trying too hard to the point where it's taking the fun out of it. And she is trying to learn about Beethoven and trying to enjoy classical music. And she does enjoy it, but she also still loves her modern, at the time, pop swing music. And Paul catches her listening to it, and she's embarrassed, and she says, "Oh, I just do it now and then for like a break for my mind." And he says, I wish you'd quit trying so hard, Billy. And she says, well, I like to like what's better to like. I want to be smart, basically. I want to like the intellectual things. And he says, you're missing the point of the education. The whole point of education is to grow bigger, not smaller. And I'm paraphrasing, but I really appreciate that lesson because it's very easy to think that we have to give up everything fun and frothy that just makes us happy if we're educating ourselves. And that's really not the case. I love Paul Verrill's views and philosophy on education because he just wants her to enjoy it, and he wants her to keep following her nose, picking things up that interest her. He's not forcing her to learn something that is difficult for her or that is a little too elevated at that point in her life, a little beyond her grasp. He just wants her to challenge herself where she is. One of the things he tells her is just start reading. If you don't like it, start something else. And I really love that because that is what drives me for education, is reading what I enjoy. I go down rabbit holes. I will start learning something and then drop it for a few months. And there are no rules to education, to self-education especially. When you have autonomy over what you are learning, the sky's the limit and you can fully enjoy it. And I really love that because sometimes education feels heavy. The word education feels like a burden, and I don't think it should. In this day and age, there is so much to learn, so much to think about, so much to absorb, and it's really easy to compare ourselves to other people. I know I've done it when I see that other people are reading Voltaire and Ralph Waldo Emerson and Greek tragedies, and I start to feel like, gosh, I'm not really learning that much. I'm just reading, an old novel from 1958. Well, it still doesn't matter. If you're following your nose, there's no way any of us could learn everything there is in the world to learn. And I think if you're following your own path, what brings you joy to learn, I think that if we spend less time trying to force education when it's miserable for us, and we just embrace our own interests, I think that makes for a better overall education. I think that makes for a better world because we're all contributing something at that point. We just have to be willing to learn. And of course, education is something of a challenge. It's not always easy, but I think we need to have a passion for what we're studying and not do it out of duty, but out of interest. So overall, I liked the vibe that it gave to education. I liked the theme of education should and can be fun and enjoyable, and you don't have to be striving all the time. There are times when you have to challenge yourself to understand a concept, but it should still be rewarding. And if you're not able to get something or grasp something at that moment in time, set it aside, do something else. Pick up an old novel, pick up a poem. It doesn't have to be miserable. I personally, from this film, was inspired to pick up a copy of the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution. I have not ordered it yet, but I have plans to order the Penguin Classics paperback edition of these two great documents, and I will drop that link in the description below. Like I said, I have not ordered it yet. I'm not affiliated with Amazon, but I trust Penguin, and I'm excited to have a copy of that on my bookshelf so that I can refer to it whenever I want to, or I can even start just reading through it someday if I decide to pick it up. I like having it on hand. So if you're interested, that'll be in the description. And the secondary theme is the theme of the selfish versus the unselfish. Paul Verrill brings this up once or twice in the film, and it comes up a few times throughout, that some people are always taking and some people are always giving. Billy starts to learn that she really does care about the world around her. She starts to realize that she has value to other people and that other people have value. And she starts to care about the American people as a whole and the fact that we live in a democracy, we live in a free nation, and we should care about keeping that alive and going and beautiful. And we should care about one another. We should care about our rights so that they're not taken away from us, so that we don't give them up, so that we're not complacent. And we should care about the rights of other people. And just because someone is rich and powerful does not make them any more of an American than we are. It shouldn't give them any more rights than the average Joe. And that theme, of course, leads to the question of what is greatness. It's very subtle, you barely catch it in there, but it just made me think, because greatness is not money. Greatness is not power. It's not violence. It's not the power to bully. Greatness is what's inside of you. Greatness is how you treat others. It's how you carry yourself. It's how you live out your principles and your morals. And it's how you continue to learn and continue to grow and adjust when you realize that you're off track. We should be growing through life, not getting more hateful, more ugly, more bitter. So anyway, that stuck with me. It's a film that's pretty special to me. I love the quotes in it. There are so many, and I really wanted to give you guys a bunch of my favorite quotes from this movie, but I restrained myself because I don't want to take away the joy that you might have if you end up watching this for the first time soon. With all these great quotes. There are so many sparkling moments throughout this film, so many great one-liners, so much comedy too. There's a lot of wit, a lot of comedy in this, and I want you to come to it with a fresh mind that isn't too influenced by me. I don't want to give too much away. So this was a wonderful film. It won an Academy Award. Judy Holliday won the Academy Award for Best Actress in 1950. And that was a pretty big feat. She beat out Gloria Swanson for the role of Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard that same year, also starring William Holden. And she beat out both Bette Davis and Anne Baxter in two leading roles in All About Eve. Now, there's kind of a hint that there may have been some political, personal reasons that Judy Holliday was able to win that Academy Award, because of some pettiness going on with the All About Eve cast. But that is another day and another cup of coffee. I'll have to go over that when I cover the film All About Eve, which will be in the future sometime. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like and subscribing if you are interested in hearing more about old films, if you're interested in philosophizing about them with me. I appreciate your watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.